Hey there, I get it. Standing in front of a shelf or scrolling through endless listings, you're probably wondering if you're about to drop $600 on a robot that'll just sit there or actually pull its weight around your home. You don't want to waste money on the wrong model, and you definitely don't want a gadget that sounds great on paper but ends up being a half-finished afterthought. That's why today I'm digging into the eufy Omni S2 Robot vacuum and mop combo, and trying to figure out whether it's the kind of investment that will actually simplify your day-to-day routine or just add another box to the garage. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about what this robot is promising: a vacuum that also mops and a claim of 99.99% germ removal. That's a bold headline, and it immediately raises two practical questions for most households. 1. Does the combination of sweeping and mopping really work well enough to replace a dedicated mop for everyday spills? 2. Can the germ removal claim translate into a noticeable difference in the air quality of a typical family home? The Omni S2 isn't a cheap entry-level robot, so its value hinges on delivering on those fronts for people who actually need both cleaning actions on a regular schedule. If you live in a busy apartment or a small house where you're juggling work, kids, and maybe a pet, the appeal is obvious. Imagine you're rushing out the door, the kids are already spilling cereal on the kitchen floor, and your dog decides to track mud in from the backyard. In a perfect world, you'd drop a robot out onto the floor, press a button, and come back to a clean surface. That's the scenario the Omni S2 is built around. The device has a dual system, a suction side for dust, hair, and larger debris, and a mop attachment that can be fitted with a microfiber pad. In day-to-day use, the vacuum side does the heavy lifting, picking up crumbs, pet hair, and the kind of fine dust that builds up under furniture. The mop side then follows, applying a light dampening to tackle sticky spots or dried spills that the vacuum alone can't fully address. Now, the real test is how well those two systems coordinate. In my own house, a similar setup from another brand would often leave a wet streak after mopping, or it would skip the corners entirely because the mop pad couldn't reach those tight spots. The Omni S2's design attempts to mitigate that by using a slightly wider mop head and a programmable cleaning path that overlaps the vacuum pass. For most users, that overlap means fewer missed spots, especially around the edges of a living room rug or under a low coffee table. If you're the type who likes to see a visible line of clean floor behind the robot, this feature can be reassuring. One of the biggest hidden trade-offs comes from the water reservoir. The mop function holds a limited amount of water, which is fine for a quick kitchen run-through, but if you have a larger area to mop, say an open-plan kitchen or a long hallway, you'll need to pause, refill, and restart the cycle. That interruption can feel like a nuisance if you were hoping for a single-pass solution. The same goes for the cleaning pad. After a few runs, the microfiber pad will become saturated with dirt and need washing, which again adds a small maintenance step. For users who expect a true set-it-and-forget-it experience, that extra attention might be a deal-breaker. Another practical point is navigation. The Omni S2 comes equipped with a suite of sensors designed to detect obstacles, stairs, and even small objects on the floor. In homes with a lot of toys or loose cables, those sensors can be a lifesaver, preventing the robot from bumping into a Lego tower or taking a tumble down a stairwell. However, there are anecdotal reports from users of similar eufy models that very dark-colored rugs or low-contrast floor patterns sometimes confuse the visual mapping system, causing the robot to take a longer route or miss a section entirely. If your interior features a lot of low-visibility flooring, you might want to test the navigation on a short run before committing to a full home schedule. When it comes to the germ removal claim, the reality is a bit more nuanced. The Omni S2 uses a UVC light inside the mop compartment to sanitize the water and the pad between cleaning cycles. UVC can inactivate many common microorganisms, but its effect is limited to the water and pad surfaces, not the air. So while you can feel a bit more confident that the mop pad isn't spreading bacteria from one spot to another, you won't see a dramatic change in overall household germ levels just by using this robot. If you're looking for a device that also improves air quality, you'd need an additional air purifier. For families with very young children, or anyone concerned about cross-contamination from kitchen spills, the UVC feature adds a modest layer of reassurance, but